Hey everyone, how y'all doing? Yeah, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I think I'm kind of just done with Ryuga Gotoku Studio at this point. Like, you know, after what I'd heard happened. By the way, hang on. Jack, let's go to. Oh wait, I clicked the second layer. That's actually not where I wanted to go, but it's fine. I think I can just rewind by doing this. I need to go to the first layer because I think. Yeah, that area might not yet be unlocked, but I still wanna go take. I wanna take those, like, I think they're rare items, cause I think in terms of stats I'm good enough to do this. But yeah, I'm kind of done with Rudego Tuku Studio. Like Kiwami 3. Now I've made several videos where I very explicitly expressed that I wasn't going to buy the game. I was not interested in buying the game, and for the most part, my reason for not wanting the game was mostly because of Kagawa, the actor playing Hamazaki. And the thing is, at the end of the day, it didn't really matter to me all that much if I was gonna not play the game as a result of all this, because at the end of the day, it's a remake of a game that I already own. So I don't really care if I'm missing out. I don't see how I would be missing out on anything important. Um, but honestly, after seeing a lot of the shit that's been posted online, like I started to realize that like my reason for not wanting to play this game extends beyond just like a boycott. Like the game just seems genuinely fucking bad. Like I'm not gonna talk about the gameplay because I haven't played it myself, and honestly, when it comes to the combat system with a lot of these RPG games, um there tends to be disagreements as far as like the direction of the combat. Like some people prefer some over the others, so I don't really want to talk too much about the gameplay. From what I've played personally, I didn't really see much wrong with it, but I don't know, maybe it's a lot worse than I saw from my own eyes. And well, I mean, I did play the demo. I genuinely didn't really see much wrong with it, but regardless, like to me it's more so the story side of things, and also just in general the visuals. Like honestly, I think the main thing that people were kind of hoping, well, it wasn't really the only thing. Like I think there are a lot of reasons why people wanted a Kiwami 3 that wasn't just, oh, let me play this game in the Dragon engine. It was also because there were some people weren't really a fan of the way enemies reacted to your attacks like defensively, and so people kind of wanted that to be fixed, even though, you know I don't really see that as enough of a reason to want to remake the entire game. But whatever, everyone has their own priorities. But I, on the other hand, if I really wanted a Kiwami 3, which generally speaking I didn't really want, because I've always held the belief that, like, in general, I don't really need a Q. Whatever. I'm not really gonna dive too much into that rabbit hole. But the point is, even in terms of visually, like, remember those screenshots that were people were throwing out about this one specific area in Okinawa that in which the shading just looked like it was a fucking alpha build? Turns out there might be more of that in the game. Like I think there was this one shot of like a building that looked really dry. And here's the thing, I am aware that like a lot of the times people are comparing this with, well, actually no, it was just that one sequence where they were comparing it to a pre-rendered cutscenes, and obviously with pre-rendered cutscenes you do have the advantage of, not actually having to render the thing in real time, and so it's it's a little bit different there, but still it did not look good. Like I've seen RGG studios make shots that look way better than that one that I saw online. I didn't personally experience it myself because I'm not gonna fucking buy this game. But honestly, there's some other stuff. Like apparently they cut a lot of side content, like a lot. I don't know how accurate this is, but like I heard that like apparently like three-fourths, like I think around, I think someone did the math, and like apparently like the original Yakuza 3 had like 100 something sub stories. This game only had like 31, which sounds insane. Like That like it like to me that like hearing that sounds genuinely insane. Like I almost don't believe it, but at the same time, apparently a lot of people can vouch for this. Like it just has way less sub stories in this game, and including some sub stories that people find to be pretty iconic. Like there was this one sub story in specific that involved a trans woman, and apparently that was removed, which is really weird. Like, I remember the original Yakuza 3 had this one sub story where Kiryu was like uh getting chased by, I don't know if it was a trans woman or if it was a uh god damn it, there's a term for that, but I completely forgot. But regardless, that scene got removed because it came across as insensitive, which, regardless of my opinions on the concept of revisionism, I can at least understand. But in this case in specific, I genuinely don't understand because it was a humble sub story. It was genuinely a pretty humble sub story. I don't understand why they would remove that. Yeah, apparently like, a lot of like revelation stuff was also cut down, and honestly, to me, what fucking drove me insane was actually the ending. Um, they ruined Yakuza 3's ending, pretty heavily, because here's the thing, like, obviously, I'm sure everyone already is aware of the fact that Mine survives, and honestly, I don't think anyone was fucking surprised. Like, he wasn't the only one that survived the fall. The villain also ended up surviving the fall because he showed up in fucking Infinite Wealth, and so I think a lot of people were kind of suspecting that they would find an excuse for Mine to not die, and I think everyone kind of knew that. And honestly, like I find that stupid, but that wasn't even the thing that fucking made me the most angry. It was the fact that they just straight up rewrote the ending. Because in Yakuza 3, and spoiler alert, I guess, but in Yakuza 3, the story ends with Hamazaki stabbing Kiryu. But in this game, he got jumped. Well, he didn't get jumped, but like Mine interrupted him, so he never ended up actually stabbing him. And from the looks of it, Mine was gonna recruit the guy, or at least he may have recruited him. Now, this is a problem for two main reasons. First of all, what the fuck are you doing rewriting the ending? Like, you know, I I think I might have defended Sega a little bit too much when they delisted Yakuza 3. Because honestly, knowing about this ending actually makes me really fucking mad for two reasons. By the way, where the fuck is the... Oh, I'm going in the wrong direction. Hang on, I think I have to go... Yeah, I have to go this way. There might be some enemies, but fuck it, I'll just have to pass through them. I think I'm strong enough to breeze through them. I don't think it's gonna be an issue. But yeah, anyway, this makes me really mad for two main reasons. Well, actually, I already said that, but I guess it's time to explain the reasons. But yeah, I think I was way too lenient on RGG about delisting Yakuza 3 because, it would be one thing if Kiwami 3 was genuinely a remake, like a genuine, like, honest to God remake of Yakuza 3, where you're essentially getting the same game, but, under a different engine. And fine, maybe one or two cutscenes might be, slightly different. Like, there might be some additional lines of dialogue, whatever. But just outright changing the fucking ending to something that not only do I find it to be inferior in my opinion, but beyond that, like, think about all the people that, Yakuza, let's say Kiwami 3 is their only option for, like, Kiwami 3 is their only, like, option to, like, buy the game after playing, what's it called? After playing Kiwami 2. Kiwami 3 ends up being the only option afterwards. Because they don't now obviously you can still buy Yakuza 3 in GOG, but what about people, for example, that have an Xbox or PlayStation? I'm not gonna say the same for PC users, because, like, You can create a GOG account. It's not that fucking hard. Just do that if you still haven't bought Yakuza 3, which at this point is already doing delisted. It's too late. But regardless, like imagine if you're like on PlayStation or Xbox or the Switch. Well, I don't know if the Switch has Yakuza 4, 5, and 6, so I don't know if I'm gonna include those. But like that's your only option, and you're gonna play Kiwami 3, and in that game, Hamazaki doesn't stab Kiryu, and then you're gonna play Yakuza 4, and you're gonna see Hamazaki is in jail, and then Haruka is mad at him, and you're just gonna be confused. It's like, what is going on? I thought he joined the fucking Illuminati group. Like, what is going on? Like, people are just gonna get confused. Because this is fundamentally a completely different direction. This is like Kiwami 3 is not a prequel to Yakuza 4. It's essentially just branching off into its own timeline. And I have to ask why. Like, why do they have to do this in general? Like, because if this is an excuse to like make new Yakuza games, it's like, dude, you made an entire turn-based series with a new protagonist. Why do you need to go back to old games? You can't just you can't pretend like you have no material. You've established an entirely new cast of dude. I like the characters in the Like a Dragon series. I'm calling it Like a Dragon, even though I swore like years ago that I wasn't gonna do that, but fuck it, it's too late. Like, you know, like you have material, dude. The Like a Dragon series has a lot of memorable, lovable characters. There's a lot of material you have. Like, I like Ichiban. I want to see more games with Ichiban, but with this, and because I think there's like an interview where the fucking guy Yokohama said that like he essentially, I think he said like this was gonna be like the last Kiwami, and like after this they're gonna go into a completely different direction, which I have no idea what he means by that. Like, I don't know if oh, thank God nobody died. If someone had died, that would have been a problem. Like, I don't know what exactly he means by that. Like, is like, what, are we gonna see more more games involving like the Daidoji group? Like, is Mine gonna become the fucking protagonist of like the upcoming games? Like, what is this? Like, what is this new direction? I don't really get it. And why do you need to fucking do that? And you know, I was about, oh fuck, that's a problem. I think this is gonna kill. Okay, this is gonna kill. Hang on, I need to fucking revive my characters because oh, thank God, we're leveling up. Cause yeah, like, you know, there might have been a time when I would have said, hey, you know, just make a new Judgment games, but like with the quality of this writing, do I even want that? Like, with this quality of writing, do I even want that? Do I want, because here's the thing, like, I don't know if what I'm gonna say is gonna fucking not bode well with people, but like, I've always seen Judgment as like a little bit closer to, like, look, I'm not gonna say that like I like Judgment more than the mainline Yakuza series, but there's a lot of aspects of Judgment that I think resonates with me a bit more in terms of what I want to see in stories, like the whole detective angle, and the fact that the series is a little bit leaning more towards like a sort of like J-drama-esque writing style, which I really like. And you know, at this point, I don't want them to even touch that series. I don't think they will, because I think that was more of like Nagoshi's thing. I don't even think Yokohama and the people that are currently in charge of Ryuga Gotoku even care about Judgment. And to be honest, at this point, I'm glad they don't care, because if this is what they would end up, you know, remember there was a time when people were like, dude, when's the next like Majima game? I want Majima to be the protagonist. And for a long time, the studio was always like, we're not really that interested in making a game starring Majima. And at the time, we were mostly just kind of like, why, man? Like, there's a lot of potential with Majima. And then we got, you know, we finally got what we wished, which was the pirate game. And, you know, I like the pirate game for the most part, but in terms of the story, it is definitely not what I wanted. In terms of the story, this might be one of the weakest Ryuga Gotoku games. So like, yeah, like in hindsight, maybe we should have listened to them when they said they weren't interested, because if this is all we were gonna get, then at this point I would have preferred if they didn't make a Majima game. Well, to be fair, at least Pirate Yakuza is at least mostly a good game. I don't even know if I'd say Kiwami 3 is a good game, and I don't even want to fucking find out as far as like whether or not a third Judgment game would be good, knowing what they're currently doing right now, because I don't want this series. I don't want that series to be tarnished. Like in my opinion, the Yakuza series is kind of being tarnished right now. Like I still think it left a pretty strong legacy, but man, what they're doing right now is just fucking like I. I it's really weird how in 1 year they essentially just completely tarnished the goodwill that the studio once had. And you know what's worse? And this is the other this is the other reason for why I hate the fact that they changed the ending of Yakuza 3. Like aside from the fact that it's gonna make people really confused, and also just the fact that like, you know, for me personally, like Hamazaki in Yakuza 4, like the change of heart that he had in that game, like I really appreciate it. Like that was one of my favorite parts about the game, and so the fact that they're just gonna completely take that away from us just feels like, I don't know, it feels very misguided, honestly. But beyond that, a part of me is wondering, like, if Mine is recruiting Hamazaki, does that mean we're gonna see more of Kakuya in future games? Because again, Yokohama said that like the ending of Kiwami 3 is gonna give them sort of like a hint as far as like what we're gonna see in the future. And if what we're gonna see in the future is more Kagawa, then yeah, I'm done with this series. I really am. Like that to me is like the final nail in the coffin. I'm not gonna even fucking bother with this series anymore. Like I'm not gonna be excited. I'm not gonna fucking pay attention to like the summits anymore. Like if this is the current direction of the Yakuza series, I don't care anymore. And honestly, at this point, the only thing I can say is it's been a fun ride. Like let me save this right very quickly. Um it's it's been a fun ride. Like look at all these games. Like Yakuza 4, Yakuza 4, Kiwami 2, Yakuza 3, 4, 5, 6, and then Yakuza Like a Dragon, and then where's the fuck is Judgment? Well, here's Lost Judgment, and then there's Judgment right here. Then there's Like a Dragon Gaiden, The Man Who Erased His Name, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, and I guess also Yakuza in Hawaii, which, you know, even though it's definitely one of the weaker entries, I'd still probably put up with this. Like we have a fun ride. It was nice while it lasted. It's been several years. A few ups and downs, and you know, it was a fun time. I'm definitely glad to have experienced this series and followed for as long as I've had, but like after all of this, I think it's time for me to cut the cord. There's no point in me continuing to follow the series so heavily. Like, you know, there was a time when Storm Connections came out, and I was like really disappointed by what I was seeing, and I was just saying, you know, I have to change the way I see CyberConnect 2 as a studio from here on out, because like I can't really look at them with the same rose tinted eyes as I used to back in the days, and I think I feel the same way about RGG Studios. In fact, I'd say my impressions of RGG Studios might actually be worse than CyberConnect 2, because at least with CyberConnect 2, I have an easier time believing that a lot of their fumbles might just be due to the fact that they have um really powerful IPs that they have to handle, and they also have to answer to like several publishers and production committees, and sometimes what they have planned may not all align perfectly, and there can be a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes that could prevent certain things to be pushed than others. And I can at least believe that like there's genuinely might be some like management problems that are very difficult to sort out, just because they are handling with a pretty powerful IP, and Naruto and any other anime games that they might handle. So I can at least be charitable with CyberConnect 2 when it comes to that. And for what it's worth, where the fuck is the game? This game, Demon Slayer Hinokami Chronicles 2, good game. Good good game. I have pretty positive opinions on the game. I still think it could have it needed a few, like I would have preferred if they had a few changes in terms of the combat system, but overall, good game. Good game. I can still mostly see Cyberconnect 2 in a positive light. RGG Studio, on the other hand, nope, I cannot. Like after all of this, I just can't. And like I hate to beat a dead horse, but like I always think like you know how I hope this game doesn't have like copyrighted music or anything like that. But I always think about how in the industry, like I think we all know that like there's a lot of fucking sleazy predators that roam around in the entertainment industry, regardless if it's Japan or the US or any other country. I think we all know that happens. But it's one thing when like a lot of this stuff is happening behind the scenes and we just don't know. And then there's another when we do know, but it's still happening. Like this is a case where we know it's happening. Like Kagawa, he was, well, I don't know if he was charged, but he made a public statement about this, and there are pictures spreading online. Like this is a clear-cut example of why I believe that he should be publicly ostracized. Like even if he's not legally, at least publicly he should be ostracized. But despite that, like he's still getting hired, and like RGG Studios, like the same studio that's made like several games where the main character is beating the fuck out of sex offenders and all types of monsters, and like they're still hiring someone who the main character who definitely beat the fuck out of. It's insane. It's fucking insane. Like I don't know how you can I don't know how you can forgive the studio after this. And I messed up the combo. Wait, hang on. So if I do... Oh, wait, hang on. Let me reset it. So if I do this... Well, it does cost some medium. Nope. I think... Yeah, I think I've done this before. It never ends up... So let's do this. And then... Pa, 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 da, da, pa. But it's gonna... Oh, this time it did work. But this is a pretty basic combo, so who cares? But yeah, like that. Those are my thoughts. I still personally think that the original Kiryu Saga is still worth playing, and if you were one of the people that never had the chance to purchase Yakuza 3 before it got delisted, just note that like even though this is a fucking really stupid suggestion, but you can buy the Yakuza Complete edition, which does include Yakuza 3 if it's something that you want to do. But in my opinion, I think you should just simply buy the copy from GOG. And if you're on PS4, you can still buy you can probably still buy Yakuza 3, because hang on, let me open a specific page. Hang on. So I'm gonna open this page here from Does It Play. No, not this one. Not this one. Yeah, this. The PNP. So yeah, this one is still in stock. VGP. Let's see. Available to order. This is from Canada. This one's also Canada. Play Asia, like it's international, so I know that for a fact. Agree. Though I will say one thing though. Oh, okay, there it is. This one. Yeah, it's still available for purchase. So the main point I want to make is if you're on PS4, I still advocate for purchasing physical media, and even if this game might not be sold directly by Sega, there are still companies that are selling I don't know if it's correct to call them re-releases, but there are still companies that are selling copies of this game. Like even if you're not seeing in like store shelves and stuff like that, there are still some websites online that are still selling this game. And I'd say that if this is your only option, you should take advantage of it because you definitely like at this point you can't buy on the PlayStation Store. Like you just can't. And I think that this is by far the best option, and it's the one that I would 100% recommend you do it. If you're on Xbox, I think there was a time when was it limited run games? I think there was a time when limited run games was selling like an exclusive rare copy of like Yakuza 3, just Yakuza 3, not the remaster collection, just Yakuza 3. And I don't know if that's still being sold, and I don't know if I would bet on that. So, you know, it's up to you to decide. Like if you find that copy, it's probably going to be really expensive. So I don't know if I'd recommend. So I don't know if you're on Xbox. Yeah, I don't know. Xbox is a really tough situation because like there's a lot of games, surprisingly a lot of games that just don't have physical media releases there, including Yakuza games. So I don't know. You'll have to see for yourself what's the best option. You're probably gonna have to go with the complete edition if that's the only option. I highly doubt you're gonna find cheap keys online. In fact, they're probably getting scalped. Well, not scalped. They're getting price hiked pretty hard. So I don't know. You're gonna have to look it for yourself. I don't really have a good solution for you. I'm just gonna be completely honest. But if you're on PlayStation, remaster collection. That's my recommendation. If you're on PC, GOG. Um, Definitely GOG. I'm opening the Alright Games launcher. I have all the Kiryu Saga here, including the Like a Dragon. Despite the fact that I'd already owned this on Steam, and I obviously own the physical media for a lot of these games, but still, I did eventually get, at some point I did end up buying the GOG collection because GOG is DRM free. You actually own the game. 100% recommend this if you're on PC. And I'm fairly wrong game. Hang on. Yakuza 3. I actually don't know if there's a way you can actually open the link to the page. Probably not. So hang on. Let me open the fucking GOG store. It's really funny. Like I have to then drag the tab here because I don't wanna. Because I've done this in the past where I just showed my my browser bookmarks and stuff like that, and generally speaking there wasn't really anything. Wait, this game is fucking available on GOG? What the hell? This is like is this a remaster or a remake? I think it's closer to a remaster. The graphics look pretty nice. Yeah, this is like PS3 graphics. It's a remaster, but regardless, yeah, the Lollipop Chainsaw game. I wanted to buy the physical copy of this, but if there's a version of this on GOG, I might as well take advantage of it. What the fuck? But yeah, like Yakuza 3. You can still okay, hang on. Let me copy this and then private tab. See, this is what I'm talking about. It ends up showing these bookmarks. Again, nothing here is really anything super sensitive, but still it's best if I don't show it. But yes, you can still buy this. You can still buy the game. And yeah, GOG is going to be your best solution from now on. And yeah, that's all I really have to share. I'm done with the series. It was fun. And yeah, that's really all. You should definitely play Yakuza 3 over this game because boy, we are getting fucking robbed right now.